Vale, vamos a empezar entonces. Bienvenidos. Muy bienvenidos a este diálogo entre dos premios Nobel de Paz. Welcome to this dialogue session between two Nobel Peace Prize laureates. The conversation will be held in English, so I will just give some key instructions around the interpretation in Spanish. Este evento, como ya se dieron cuenta, va a estar desarrollado en inglés, pero tenemos habilitada la opción de interpretación en vivo en español. Entonces, ahora para que todos pues podamos conectarnos, entender muy bien lo que está pasando y disfrutar de este diálogo, vamos a explicarles cómo funciona este tema. Entonces, si ustedes están en el celular, van a ver un icono de 3 punticos en la parte inferior derecha. Ahí, entonces, hay un menú desplegable y ponen interpretación de idiomas, seleccionan un idioma español, después ponen finalizado y ahí ya comenzarán a escuchar la interpretación. Hay un pequeño video ahorita que viene, entonces, como si estuviéramos en el celular, ¿vale? Entonces ahí ustedes se paran, van a ver los 3 punticos, los ponen interpretación de idiomas, buscan español y cuando han finalizado van a ver que ya les sale español en la pantalla, ¿vale? Entonces, con eso van a poder escuchar muy bien desde su celular. Y ya, si están desde el computador, entonces es muy fácil, hay en la barra inferior de controles hay como un mundito, un símbolo de mundo, ahí ponen interpretación, seleccionan el idioma español y ya lo comienzan a escuchar. Vamos a ver también cómo funciona en un video para que sea más claro. Entonces ahí están viendo la pantalla, por ejemplo. Abajo, si ven el mouse, va a interpretación, después seleccionan el idioma, en este caso es español, para que escuchen la traducción en español, y ahí ya lo comienzan a escuchar. Si tienen alguna pregunta, algún problema técnico, hay una sesión de preguntas y respuestas también en la barra de abajo, y entonces ahí van a poder pues ponernos alguna pregunta técnica que tengan en caso de que lo necesiten. ¿Listo? Muchas gracias. Vale, entonces, bueno, ya vamos a empezar. So we are going to start. This is the first of a series of events that will take place today. We are very happy around it. They will all be centered around the key concept of social business as a tool for generating peace and economic development. And we will have a special focus in my beloved country, Colombia. So this is very exciting. These series of events are organized by Yunus Environment Hub, by the Grammy Creative Lab, and by Yunus Sports Hub. You can see the information of the whole series of events that will happen today at many hours in the website. That is yycolombia.co. En español, yycolombia.com. The transmission will be live in Facebook, from the Facebook of YY Colombia. So you can also just help us spread the word and share it there. For introducing myself, I'm Paula Gutierrez. I'm co-founder and managing director of Impact of Bogotá, and I'm very honored to be your moderator today. This session is organized with the support of Fundación Compás, and we'll have the pleasure of listening to a conversation around key central topics between two very inspiring individuals that are here with us today. So we have Professor Yunus, who is Nobel Peace Prize laureate for his work to create economic and social development from below. And we also have here the former president of Colombia and recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to end our over 50 years of internal conflict, Juan Manuel Santos. So welcome. Really, it's an honor to be here speaking with you. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Delighted to be with you, coming from Bangladesh straight to Colombia. So easy. Yeah. We can come and say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody.
I know it's faster than an airplane, right? So
we don't have to ride any place.
We don't have. What time is it there, Professor?
So past 10 minutes past 7.
10 minutes past 7. Okay, and welcome.
In the evening. We're in the evening.
In the evening, yeah, you're
That's right, yeah.
Already in the night. Okay, and in Colombia, right, Mr. Santos, you're in Colombia. We're very happy to have you here. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, and it's a great honor to be having this event with Professor Yunus. I admire him. I've known him for a long time. He has done a great work all around the world. So it's a great, great honor and a great pleasure. And Professor Yunus has been in Colombia and knows a lot about our country. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation.
Thank you very much. See, you are a legend yourself. Thank you.
Nice, and we are very pleased that we are also have people joining, not only from Colombia, but there are many from Colombia, we know, but from many different parts of the world. And we are very pleased to have this high-level conversation also about our common challenges, right? Because many times we are just thinking about our local reality, but when we also see like the broader perspective, we have this sense of how we are connected. And right now, like the COVID-19 challenge has shown us just that, right? So we are in this unprecedented time with many challenges, but that also represents some key opportunities to reinvent ourselves, right? So just for starting this conversation, having in mind that we couldn't see ourselves in person because of that, but that we are having this opportunity today, what do you all think, like for the world, for us as humanity, for our planet, this horrible situation of the COVID-19 could help us shape our economic model in a more just and sustainable way? How can we use this as an opportunity? So I don't know, Professor Yunus, if you please want to start with your views around that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Definitely, I've been trying to communicate this to other people. This is a time, the pandemic time. It happened so suddenly and so globally. The world had no preparation for it. And we are pushed into a very strange situation, unknown to us all over the world. And that has stopped the economic machine, it's caused lots of hardship for people who are in the low income level. They lost income, they lost food, they lost their savings and everything. Very strange situation for millions, hundreds of millions of people, even billions of people. So this is a time when we see all the wrong things that we have done throughout our economic system. They became very visible suddenly because the machine stopped and all the things have been revealed, exposed, visualized, and so on. So that this makes us think that what do you do wrong things for us? And this is the time to reflect and get ready for action. The situation is so bad, we have to take outrageously bold decisions. Simple decisions will not match the current situation that we have seen. We need to do big things so that we don't fall into the same trap that we have created for ourselves. I said today, human beings are the most endangered species on this world. They are the one who is about to finish because of the global warming, because of the wealth concentration, because of the artificial intelligence and so on. So in order to save ourselves, instead of being endangered species, how do we make ourselves a world for ourselves, which is a happy world, which is a safe world for our generations to come?
Thank you so much. Yeah, and also a word that you have mentioned many times, like with zero poverty, zero unemployment, and zero carbon emissions. So I think we are on the path for doing that. Mr. Santos, what is your vision about the opportunities that we can have from this crisis?
Well, thank you. First, I would say that this pandemic has reminded us something that we usually forget, that we all live in one house, which is called the world. And the virus has no frontiers, and it doesn't choose from one race to another. And so it reminds us that we are also only one race, human beings. So if we have that in our minds to confront the future, we will be much better off. We live in one house. We must take care of this house, and there's no differences among human beings. We're all equal. With those premises, we can then try to approach the other problems that this pandemic has allowed us to see more clearly. One of them is a problem that Professor Yunus has been fighting for a long time, which is inequality and poverty. This pandemic is unfortunately increasing inequality and increasing poverty in a way that we have not experienced in the near past. We have been making progress in the world against poverty, not so much against inequality, but all this has been erased by this pandemic. But this gives us an opportunity to have a new approach, a new way to fight poverty. And I experienced that in my country before the pandemic 10 years ago, inspired by somebody that Professor Yunus knows very well, another Nobel, not peace, but economic laureate, Amartya Sen, when he said, don't approach the fight against poverty simply by measuring how much money you earn. You must address the basic needs of the people. And he invented something called the multi-dimensional index. That we applied in Colombia with tremendous success. And I think the world right now has a big opportunity to approach the fight against poverty with different parameters than the ones that we used traditionally, the ones used by the multilateral organizations, which basically is how much income you earn. Therefore, we have an opportunity here to change the paradigm of how we fight poverty. At the same time, we have seen these tremendous differences in terms of equality. The inequality in the world has been increasing. This is not sustainable, as the global warming is not sustainable. And therefore, we also need a new approach, not only from the public sector, but also from the private sector. And fortunately, we are starting to see this new approach emerging. In the private sector, you now have the approach of the stakeholders instead of the stockholders, that private companies should take into account the well-being of the community, the well-being of their employees, and other factors different from simply making a profit. And if that is enlarged in the economic sphere and in the business sphere and also in the public sphere, then we can address inequality with a much more effective tool. So the pandemic is really showing us much more clearly the problems that we have, and there are other problems that we can refer to later on, but it's also giving us the opportunity to address them more effectively. And we have to address them, otherwise we will be in deep trouble because time is running out. And of course, the biggest challenge, in my view, is global warming, is climate change. We must remember that the pandemic is a product of our disconnection with nature. The pandemic started because of this disconnection with nature. We have to reconnect with nature. And this is something extremely, extremely important. And if we go back to what I was saying in the beginning, that we all live in one house and work together to make that house a better place to live, then this pandemic would be a blessing instead of a disaster as it has been so far.
Thank you so much. And I think just building on that you have mentioned, it would be very interesting, Professor Yunus, to know more about like this new paradigm and this tool of social business that you have been like a founder and main promoter. Like, how do you see social business as a key in this time? Like, why is social business so important?
I'll mention two things why it's important and what this is all about, social business and everything. One thing is about of all the efforts that we made, all the businesses and the economic development we have created, the net result can be summed up with the global warming, with the extreme wealth concentration, with the tipped with poverty, extreme poverty, and then massive unemployment through artificial intelligence, which is coming very fast. So if you avoid all the details, this is what we got. This is the net result. So as a result, as I was beginning to say, that we became the most endangered species on this planet. We are about to go. President Santos mentioned about the house that we live. My point is, house is burning, but we are not even paying attention to it. We are busy in a party. We are partying. We're enjoying, and say, okay, we'll do this, but we don't disrupt ourselves. It's like a drug addict. He knows, she knows that it's bad for his health, it's bad for the family, bad for the society. It knows very well, but he cannot get away from it. He keeps on doing the same thing over and over. So we become addicted to the world that we are. We don't even recognize that it is burning, it's destroying ourselves. At the time given to us is very small. Within a few years, it will be all done. And that's what the projections made by all the scientists, that you have to go, we'll soon be reaching 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature. And it will be extremely difficult for human being to continue this life. And if you push it further, 2 degrees Celsius, it's over. And the time limit is about 30 years from now. So our life is over in the 30 years, if we believe in the scientists, which I do. And we talk about it, but we do the things as if, oh, this will not happen. And our children, our own children, are marching on the street, call themselves Fridays for Future, saying that, blaming their parents, that you are totally responsible. You stole our future. Children blaming their parents that you stole our future. And how harsh can it be? Still, parents are not aware of it. Their parents are still trying to save things as it is. I said, saving is not going to work. If you go to the same old road, we end up with the same destination. The destination is all described that this is the end game. This is finished. The last station is very close. This is the time is up. So in order to save ourselves, we have to do drastic things, not tiny things. We are talking about, for example, we mentioned about the disconnection, which is good that we disconnected ourselves from nature. I'm saying it's not disconnection, it's distraction. Disconnection is indifference. I'm indifferent to everything. That's disconnection. I don't pay attention. That's disconnection. I'm saying it's not disconnection at all. We're deliberately destroying things. And that's what we do to our nature every day, to the fossil fuel, to plastic, to the forest, destruction of the forest, and so on. And deliberately we do that because that's what economy encourages, profit maximization. We are addicted to the money, addicted to the maximization of profit. That's the direction we are going. So that will not save us at all. So we have to come back. It's a completely different way. We said we are most endangered species, as I said, but that is happening because of our own initiative. It's not happening because somebody is making our life difficult. No, we are making our difficult. We are the most self-destructive human life form in this planet. We are self-destructive. We are destroying ourselves. All I'm appealing, please wake up. Recognize that the house is burning. We can undo everything that we have done, but we have to do it very fast. So this is a matter of emphasis. I'm putting emphasis. We have very short time. We have to do drastic things, and pandemic creates that environment. That when people say, governments say, okay, we have to rush back to pre-pandemic situation, the world of the pre-pandemic world, so that we can move on with our life with the same economy, same thing that we have been doing, enjoying our prosperity, enjoying our growth in GDP growth and so on. I said, that world, we don't want to go back, because that world is a world of debt. We are about to finish ourselves. So why should we go in a suicide path? This is a time, pandemic time is a time, so that the train which is carrying us to the death has stopped. Now we can get off the train and build a new train to take us someplace else. That's where the 3-0 thing came. You mentioned that. I said, today we have the global warming, we have the extreme wealth concentration and poverty, and massive unemployment is about to come. Everybody will be out of job, because that's what the promise of the artificial intelligence. So we become surplus on this. So we have to leave this world which creates these problems. We have to create a new world, and we can do that. That's where we're capable of doing that. Of 3 zeros. 0 net carbon emission. There's a global warming gone. We will be creating a permanent world of 0 net carbon emission, and a world of 0 wealth concentration. It's possible. All we have to do is to redesign the economic system. And 0 unemployment. We don't invite the artificial intelligence. We do it ourselves. Human being will be at the center of the focus of the planet, not something surplus on the planet, because machines will take over. That's where we have to redesign everything about what the economy has said. Economy is based on premise that all human beings are driven by self-interest or selfish interest. I said, that's absolutely wrong. Human beings are driven by self-interest, at the same time strongly driven by collective interest. That collective interest part is not recognized by economics. Only the self-interest part is recognized. That's why we made the whole thing done. So why don't we recognize what we are? We are driven by self-interest and collective interest. For self-interest, we created the business to maximize profit. Go on, do that. But also, now that we have a collective interest to recognize, we have to create a new business to address the collective interest, solve collective problems of global warming, water, sanitation, healthcare, all those things that we all keep talking about, poverty and so on. So we have to create a new kind of business, which is not based on profit maximization, but 0 personal profit. It's because we have it inside of us. We want to do things for common good. That's what we wanted to do. So that's what we call in social business. So we have to include that. I'm not throwing away the profit maximization part, simply adding a new piece, which is a collective interest driven things. And this is a business, sustainable thing. And we can create that. And we have been doing that in Colombia right now. This is how President Santos invited us to participate in the peace process. We are so proud to be of some assistance to him. And then this is why we are talking today, because we have now so many involvement in Colombia with the universities, young students. We are working with SSC University in Cali, Colombia. We are studying with another university in Bogota, so that the young people start thinking. We have to change our thinking process. The whole fault is here, not in there. We think in the wrong way, we create the wrong world. If you think in the right way, we'll create the right world. We are capable of doing. Nothing is impossible for a human being. That's my basic thesis. Nothing is impossible for a human being. Only we have to make a decision to make it happen. Then it will happen. This is the time to make the decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think it's very important for us to be able to face directly in the face our challenges, you know, like not being just romantic about everything, but knowing that we have these challenges, as you have said. But you have already mentioned some key ways in which we can tackle them, in which we can solve them, because we also have this great potential to do that. I want to refer more to social business entrepreneurs as key in this part of helping to solve these challenges, as their products and services are directly solving them, right? There has been a collaboration between Fundación Compass and Yunus Environment Hub that, well, you your organizations have been working together already in Colombia this year, finding some social business entrepreneurs in key areas, very remote areas that were very affected by conflict, like for example, Bojayá and Montes de Maria, and also in the Amazons, tackling key things like climate change. So how do you think we could better support these social business entrepreneurs? What is needed for them to be able to grow and to flourish, you know, and to take these ideas to another level? Which will be your ideas around that? Maybe, Mr. Santos, what do you think around?
Thank you. Well, first of all, I agree 100% with what Professor Yunus has just said about bold action, dramatic action that we need to take if we want to save the world. And this is something that the pandemic has helped us see more clearly, that we need bold and dramatic action. We need to change the course and start living a new paradigm, a new life. But this is more easily said than done, and how to do it. And I think Professor Yunus is somebody who has been studying these processes for a long time and has taught us in the world that things are possible. And I share with him, and I am inspired by him, by his optimism that we can make it, we can do it, but it's not easy. And therefore, his approach of from the bottom up instead of from the top down is a necessary and very important approach. Things change dramatically if people start thinking in a different way. And for them to start thinking a different way, you need to teach them. You need to show them why it is so important to think in a different way, behave in a different way. And there's a concept that the economists use, it's called the demonstration effect. When somebody does something differently and it works, other people see it and say, oh, this might work, then I'll try it also. And it's like a snowball effect. And I think that is what Professor Yunus and the Fundación Compás are trying to do in Colombia. And I am sure that many other institutions and people are trying to do it in other parts of the world, of planting the seeds of entrepreneurs with a different approach that can flourish. And if they flourish, others will say, well, this might work. And then things start to change. And the projects that we are working together, for example, one beautiful project, saving the bees in a region in the Caribbean coast called the Montes de Maria. The bees, because of climate change and because our destruction, as Professor Yunus has mentioned, of nature, the bees, which are essential for us to live, are disappearing. So we need to stop that phenomena of destroying the bees, reverse it, and at the same time give the unemployed people a source of income. So this very small, specific project in a region that was devastated by the war, the atrocities, Professor Yunus, you cannot imagine what happened in this part of Colombia, the Monte de Maria, the most atrocious episodes of the war, or one of the most atrocious, was concentrated there. Now you have young people, this project of discovering how to save the bees, produce honey, and have an income. And this encapsulates the new approach of the social entrepreneurship with a collateral positive effects in building a social network to build also a climate for peace. So you can do things simultaneously with small projects that if you give them enough support and they flourish, they will multiply. You only need to allow them to do what is necessary. Of course, the government policies should help these type of ventures, and they will flourish, as we have seen all around Colombia. The approach that we have taken in the Fundación Compás, for example, to train leaders from the communities of the regions that were devastated by the war, and train those leaders to simply teach other people when they go back. We bring them to the most important university in Colombia. We give them a crash course in leadership and take them back for them to teach other people, for example, simply to resolve problems without violence. And we teach them to respect nature, to be conscious of nature and the environment and climate change. And that has a multiplying effect on the base of society. And that's what's going to allow us to bring this bold and dramatic change, hopefully as soon as possible. We need it. And we need also to take advantage of the pandemic. People are living in a very uncertain world. If there is something certain about the pandemic, is uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. We still don't know what's going to happen. And therefore, we have an opportunity there. When you have uncertainty, the minds are opened to new ideas, to new approaches. So we have to take advantage of those new ideas and new approaches. And we have that opportunity, and we must take it, because we can also change our definition of progress. Professor Yunus will understand this very well. Progress has been measured in the last 100 years or 70 years by something called GNP, gross national product, which only measures how much we produce. And this is killing us. So we must be very bold and redefine what we consider progress. How much we cut our emissions, how much we cut inequality, how much employment we create. If we introduce those certain different factors in our definition of progress, then we will compete in a much constructive way. We will try to attain a much more constructive environment. And therefore, we have the opportunity right now to make all these bold changes that will change the way we behave.
Thank you so much. Professor, what do you think, what will you build on from these actions we need to take, and how to support especially entrepreneurs in this sense?
Yeah, I like what how the President Santos has explained. It's initiatives, lots of initiatives, and we should learn from each other. It's not that somebody has all the answers and we have to go to him. Everybody has answers. Simply, we need to encourage, inspire to take the initiative. Today, we have learned along the way about our economic policies and so on. We depend on the government. Government has to make the policy, excuse me.
No word.
Government has to make the policies, government has to take the initiatives and everything. I don't dispute, let government take the policies, take the initiatives, but the citizens should not be sitting around pushing all the responsibility to the government. Citizens should take their own initiatives. That's the theme. Individuals are very powerful. Individuals are enormous number. Everybody can contribute small things, and we learn from each other. It becomes big as we go along. So this is the purpose of sitting together and discussing today, is to how to connect each other. It's not about, we don't go and change the world by declaring something. We do little things on the ground. We keep saying that problems are super big, but we can start very small, address that super big. Because if we all participate, the super big will disappear. Because we are big too in numbers. So each initiative has an impact, to learn from each other and do that. And at the same time, the important thing is today's young people are very powerful in technology, in access to information, in all the things, which make them, each individual young person alone can change the whole world. Because changing world is an idea, it's doing things. That's why we encourage young people to have imagination. I said, imagine what kind of Colombia you'd like to have. Just imagine. And imagination doesn't have any boundary. Imagination doesn't cost any money. Just write down a page what kind of Colombia you would like. Put everything you want. Just keep on writing what kind of Colombia. There is no restrictions in your thought. I said, if you imagine, it will happen. And if you don't imagine, it will not happen. Yes, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Can I just make a comment of what Professor Yunus is saying? In today's world, and I think in Bangladesh, in all of Asia, in the Americas, and Europe, we are also very polarized.
Yeah.
There's a lot of polarization. We have a big opportunity to discuss what future do we want in each country. Different countries have different priorities and have different problems. But if we take advantage of what is happening today in the pandemic and get together and say, let's redesign our future, this would be a big opportunity to get together, at least starting to discuss the future. And that is the way that you can reduce polarization and start building also bridges among the different factions that are today in conflict. This I learned from Nelson Mandela. When he started his peace process in South Africa, he started by uniting the different factions to discuss what future do you want. And there, the discussion could be possible because they were discussing what future you want. They were not discussing the present, but that allowed a dialogue and a constructive dialogue to emerge. I think we now have this opportunity to discuss what future do we want, reduce polarization, and with that, take very bold decisions of changing the way we live. But I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I thought this is a good opportunity because I think in your country, in my country, and all around the world, this is something that we have in our hands.
Yeah, that's why we created our initiatives like Yunus Environment Hub. This is what we are talking today. Small things about how to save the environment. We cannot change the environment of the whole world, but we can make an initiative how to start it so that young people can participate in these initiatives and so on. One of the things that in our discussion at the Yunus Environment Hub, let's talk about the Amazonian, how to save the Amazonian. I said, why don't we take 100 miles by 100 miles Amazonian forest and declare it as a demilitarized zone? meaning that we will not harm this place. Every party, the governments, businesses, everybody who are usually agents of destruction, when they come to demilitarized zone, they leave their weapon behind. They said, here we collaborate to make this a beautiful forest. We cannot do it for the rest of it, but here we'll do that. We'll encourage all the animals, all the life forms to grow. All the people who live in this demilitarized zone will have beautiful life for them. We'll bring all the ideas together. This will be something of a demonstration. Yes, if we put our minds together, we can invite all the companies who are destroying the forest to grow soybean. They let them do whatever they do. I cannot stop them. But here, they shake hands with us. Together, we shake hands that this part is a demilitarized zone. Will make it flourish, make it beautiful, so that we can have an experience what it is like. Maybe that experience will be spill over to other things. So this is one idea. I keep telling the Yunus Environment Hub to try this out in some place so that we can do that. Such a beautiful forest, Amazonian. And this is our lungs, which cleans all our weather, environment. And we are destroying it and keep on doing that. And as if we can tolerate everything. So why don't we make them aware by doing this demonstration things? We also have the Yunus Sports Hub, how to bring which is a huge world itself. The sports world is a huge world. I say it has tremendous power. The sports have a tremendous power because it attracts everybody on the planet. Whether you're a rich person, poor person, whether you live in the city or in the village, whether you're literate, you're illiterate, you are inspired by sports. You have your heroes, you play your games, everybody plays games. Some could. I said that is a power that you have in the sports world, but that power used by money makers for commercial purposes. They make money by advertising and so on, take advantage of the sports even. We never use this power of sports for social purposes. Why don't you direct this force for social purposes? That's why this idea of creating Sports Hub came about. We persuaded the French government and particularly government of Paris and Hidalgo, mayor of Paris. She got excited about the idea. So together we are in the process of designing. We already got the approval from the IOC to make Paris as the next venue for Olympic 2024. So this is approved. We presented to IOC together with the Paris in Switzerland to make it a social business Olympic. The idea is very simple. It has a €7 billion budget, the Olympic 2024. The simple issue that I raised, can we make sure every penny of this $7 billion should be used for social purpose? If it doesn't serve a social purpose, we stop. We don't use that money. So we are redesigning everything. We're designing the Olympic village completely different way. This will be a village for the homeless people when the Olympic is over. The whole city will be transformed because of this Olympic village, because there will be real homeless people will be living there. This will be real village with their school for the children, with the other things and so on, in a sustainable way. And everything that we'll be doing in this Olympic would be like that. So these ideas now taking up in the individual club, sports, athletics, and so on. So these are the small things we can do at the athletics level, at the individual player level, at the same time at the global level. So the idea is so important that we bring that idea. And somebody said, oh, this is an idea that we're going to implement it. So all these starts with a very small thing, and I'm sure they will explain to you in Colombia how to build it up, Sports Hub, taking the athletics and the sports people to transform their life, because the sports life is a very short life. It's 35 years old, you're over, you're finished. You have no life anymore, and you don't know anything. And many hundreds of thousands of these young people has a life of uncertainty. They don't know. They were a hero in their sports, but today they are not. Or they never made it in their sports, but they dedicated their life, but they didn't do anything. I said, no, this is not the end of it. We will transform you into entrepreneurs. Be entrepreneurs. Sports is entrepreneurship. So come, bring ideas to individual Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not work, but keep on doing some way. We'll find a way to make it happen. So these are the little pieces that we are trying, and I'm very happy to collaborate and work together in Colombia, and that's where our discussion is coming.
I would like to make a comment there about sports.
Sure.
Sports, it's a coincidence, but you are so right about the importance of sports and its possible effect on the social issues.
Yeah.
Again, going back to Mandela, he used sports
I remember that one,
to unite the country. Tomorrow, Saturday, I am having a conversation in a Peruvian book fair with John Carling, who wrote the book about Invictus, which became this very famous movie about Mandela and how he used sports to unite South Africa.
Black and the white,
and we copied from that in Colombia in this reconciliation process that we're right now in the middle of. We are bringing teams from former guerrillas, former paramilitaries, former soldiers, the sons of them, of these people, bring them together through sports. And this has a very, very positive effect in the way they think and the way they relate to each other. So I just wanted to underline what you just said about the importance of sports. It's extremely important, and if we can,
very powerful.
If we can divert the profit motive to a social motive, that would be a big step forward in the right direction. I just wanted to underline that, Professor Yunus.
Oh, thank you so much. This is very important addition.
And just for like a reminder that today at 12 there will be a talk about the Yunus Sport Hub and sharing some cases that have already been done in Colombia as part of this series of events. So it would be great if more people can join and we can see like those connections and try to see how to grow this idea. And like going back to what we need to start doing by individually, right? And that we need to collaborate in different levels to make that happen. I just want to quickly ask you, Professor Yunus, because I know that you have been promoting an initiative around that. You have been promoting something around health and why we need to work together right now to make it really accessible for all. So maybe if you can tell us more about it, and because in the sports, in climate change, we need to work together. In health, what's happening? What do you see? And also, like Mr. Santos, if you have any example of that or any idea of that, that would be great. But so, Professor Yunus, what can you share?
Yeah, on the healthcare, we got involved with the health of the poor women through Grameen Bank, because Grameen Bank lending money to poor women in Bangladesh. We're extremely poor in health also. If you are poor, you are also poor in health. Go together. So we see that we are giving money for income generation and so on, but their health is so poor. Their children are totally malnourished and full of diseases, all kinds of diseases. So our first attention were the children of the poor families. One of the first work that we did along with the Grameen Bank to address the problem of night blindness. Many children in Grameen Bank in the 70s used to go blind after sunset. They cannot see anything. This disease is called night blindness, and this is caused by vitamin A deficiency. So we encourage people to grow vegetable, so that eat vegetable, because vegetable has lots of vitamin A. Rather than look for medicine and so on, this is homegrown, you can do that. So we started selling seeds, very cheap, very good quality seeds, and make it a penny packet. Each packet is 1 penny, and it has a very good seed in it, and used as a sprayed around, and vegetables grow, and you eat it, let your children grow. And that business became a nationwide business for us. We became the largest vegetable seed seller in the country, ultimately. And by the time we became so big, the night blindness in the country disappeared because of the input that they had in that. So this is one encouraged us. Then we went to toilet, that there's no toilet in the families. So we said, no, every Grameen family must have a toilet. And we give a loan to set up a toilet. And you can pay that loan over your lifetime. So don't worry about paying right away. So you do that, penny, absolutely penny per week. And then it will be taken care of. It will be done. And we created a company to produce toilet in the village so that we can go and install it. And as a result, Bangladesh became one of the countries in the whole subcontinent, in the whole area, where toilets exist in the villages for every family. So today, India is still struggling for toilets. They have no toilets in the villages. So we did it in a business way. We created toilets, we gave them the loan to buy the toilet, and say you spend your lifetime to pay us back with a small weekly payment for that. So people didn't feel anything bad about it because they can afford it. So, and then we saw Bangladesh didn't have enough nurses. We had a very strange situation in Bangladesh. For every nurse, there are 3 doctors. It would have been the other way. For every doctor, there should have been 3 nurses. But Bangladesh has such a shortage of nurses because nobody wants to go into nursing, and government never did the program for nurses. So we created a nursing college in collaboration with Glasgow Caledonian University. They provided us the faculty. We created a social business. We cover all the costs. We take the girls from the poor family and bring it to the nursing college. We gave them the loan from Grameen Bank. And when they get the job after the nursing is over, they are the most sought after nurse in the country because they are the best quality nurses in the country. And they can pay back the loan over 3 years. Just pay 1/4 of the salary they get, and then 3 years, all the loans that they have taken is done. So now it became the premier nursing college in the country. We are building, expanding this capacity of nurses. It's a social business, but the nurses are there. Now we are going to the medical college. This is one direction. Then we created a company called Digital Healthcare. And during the pandemic period, it became very handy because nobody could move out, but we can provide service by digital healthcare. Doctors on call. So there is a call center, doctors are sitting around, and doctors didn't have to come to an office to take the call. They could take the call out of their home because now under lockdown, you're not going anywhere. So we provide the prescription through mobile phone by the technology, and we can provide the medicine by people who can deliver the medicine for you. So people are calling up and then we introduce a healthcare insurance by the same digital healthcare company. If you contact coronavirus, then this is the amount that you receive for your treatment and so on. And if you are hospitalized, then this is the amount you get. And this is what we make it very cheap. And for poor people, we made it free. You get the healthcare free, or the digital healthcare free, and the insurance and other things, because we took the companies to pay for all the premium they have to take care of. So each company bought part of their responsibility to sponsor free health insurance and so on and so forth. And it became very popular because they know that they have some respect because they're feeling completely helpless. Our healthcare system, particularly public health, completely collapsed because we didn't have much of a healthcare system, an official healthcare system. But when pandemic came, whatever we had completely collapsed. So we became a kind of a replacement to make people hope something so on. So we see the healthcare is a massive area where social business can play a very important role to bring healthcare to now the virtual healthcare, digital healthcare, and also nurses and the technicians. Many of the things you don't need a full doctor. All you need is a technician or the nurse and can do that. So this is what we are encouraging now. So this is definitely a massive area that where you can bring social business ideas to make it happen so that it's sustainable. We have a series of eye care hospitals in the country, and each eye care hospital has to be sustainable. What we do, we charge a fee. It's about $30 per cataract operation, and that covers our cost. And we have a surplus from that $30 per eye care for cataract operation. Then we give free eye care for the poor people, because what we make profit from the $30, we cross-subsidize it for the poor people, so that in total, the hospital itself cover everything. And we pay good salary to the surgeons and the doctors in the eye care hospital. So we're not expanding because all these eye care hospitals that we have created, now we have 4 eye care hospitals. Whenever they come to the 4th year of operation, they come to the break-even. so that you cover all the costs, so that you don't have to go around find money from somebody else. You do that, you continuously cover your costs, and within 4th year, you become self-sustaining. And after that, you start paying back the investment we made in you, so that with that investment money, we can invest in another one, so that it can continue the series. So this is the social business idea in application, in actual operation of doing that. And we are talking about now the vaccine has come, or in the way coming, the issue that I'm raising, that the vaccine should be made a public common good. It should not be something that a big pharma company will be making a lot of money. This is what they are doing now. They are already selling it to the richest countries, the very high price. They don't care whether poor countries will get any vaccine at all. What I've been doing, that vaccine should be made by the United Nations declaration that it will be a public good, it will be a common good, it will not have any patent right by the pharmaceutical companies. At the same time, I'm saying this is another area that we should be activating ourselves. We should be creating global social business pharmaceutical company, so that it's a pharmaceutical company producing vaccines and medicines, not for making money, but to cover the cost and serve the people. Today, pharmaceutical company means super profit, and vaccine gave them another opportunity to make big profit out of it. And this is the direction it's going. I said, we have to make aware that the people suffer because somebody wants to make money out of their life. And this is what is happening. The vaccine issue is not resolved yet. So I continuously pursue that and trying to get this UN resolution passed in the current General Assembly session. But not many countries are involved in getting any response from that. But we continue to do that, but at the same time trying to see if we can create a social business pharmaceutical company for future, so that we can bring these things in a social business way rather than profit maximizing way.
I agree also, and it demonstrates how Professor Yunus has his priorities in a well-mannered order. Health, access to health,
yeah,
is absolutely fundamental. And this pandemic has showed us how unequal the world is in terms of access to health. So in a group that I belong to called the Elders, one of the priorities is to promote universal health coverage. And this is possible. In Colombia, one of the achievements that I'm more proud of in my government is not only peace, it's also that we declared access to health as a fundamental right of every citizen in Colombia. And every citizen in Colombia goes to a hospital and he has to be accepted. This was a very important step forward. Now, making that in a way, in an efficient and effective way, is a challenge for Colombia and for the world. So what Professor Yunus is telling us is that there are many initiatives that can facilitate this universal access to a health system. Depends on the country, depends on the geography, depends on the amount of doctors. There are different factors, but this is a very, very important way to approach this very important challenge of having a universal health system. And we have to also be prepared to break obstacles and paradigms. The multinationals in the pharmaceutical industries are very strong, and they have very, very powerful lobbyists.
Lobby.
I suffer that because we put a cap in the price of medicine, and they almost vetoed Colombian entrance to the OECD because of that. I had to fight that with all our might in order to not be vetoed because of that. So there is resistance, but I think the pandemic has also showed us and gives us an opportunity that one big objective of the world should be universal health coverage. And how to make that possible in the practice. Initiative like Professor Yunus is showing that he's applying in Bangladesh, and they're applying all over the world. I think this is a very important step forward. If we want a more equal world, we need to give the people of the world access to a minimal health system in order for them to feel that they live a dignified life.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, because we've been able to see just with this conversation, and I really love it that it has been really like a dialogue, and we have seen all these different topics that are there, are in front of us, are big challenges, right? Health, the climate crisis, the bigger one, right? It's all over our heads, and we need to find ways to solve it. Unemployment, but also like all these different ways in which we can really work together to solve them, from a high level perspective of how do we make collaborations between countries, how do we exchange ideas, to starting with the individual actions and the initiatives that can like go from the bottom up and make things visible and possible. So just for finishing up this dialogue, I would like you to give an advice for people watching this, and for people saying like, okay, like there's a lot of things to do. How do I start? Like, what can I do from an individual point of view? And especially if you're a young person, right? What is it that you can start doing today for contributing to helping to make this dream world that we can create together possible? Which would be your suggestion for them, Professor Yunus?
Well, for me, I will. For the young people, I would say that you have the tremendous power, because you are born at this time. This is the time when all the technologies come to such a big level, high level, that you can almost do anything you want. That's how we are talking to each other, such so far away, but we are having a conversation as if we are sitting in the same room, so we don't feel any difference. But that power is here. It's already, you understand that power much more clearly than your elders, because they are not familiar with many of the technology which is floating around. But you are in the essence of the technology. So if you feel that technology is in your hand, that gives you power, feel that power. Feel that you have enormous power in itself by having that access to the technology. If you know that you have the power, you feel that, then you ask the question, what use you'll make of this power? If you don't ask that question, this power will be wasted away. You had it, you had fun about it, you had some free use of it, some silly use of that, but you didn't explore the potential of that power to change the world. That world, that technology can change the world. If you have your mind made up that I'm going to use this power that I have, I will not let any drop of it wasted away. I want to make use of it. So if you know that you want to use it, how are you going to use it? For what purpose? Purpose has to be something grand. It's not a silly purpose. It has to be something which will transform the world. That's the power you have. You alone can change the whole world. That you have to believe. It doesn't need billions of people to change the world. It needs only one person to change the world with the idea. You come up with the idea. An idea is something which is very specific to you. You come up with the idea, see how it reaches out to other people. So it continues an idea, it produces other ideas. Ideas inspire ideas. And that is a fantastic power by itself. So this is the direction I would say young people should be looking at. And it's a boy or it's a girl, doesn't matter. You have the same power. You have the power. You may be in a very small location that you are, but your voice, your feelings, your communication can be global right now. This is the power you have. So think about ideas, make it happen, and take concrete steps. It's not about advising somebody. Advising is good if you have an idea, but always use the idea yourself. And then it becomes super powerful. because you have not only had the idea, you have shown it, demonstrated it in an experimental level. Then if it says growing is something, yes, makes sense. In the beginning, everybody will oppose. Oh no, this is crazy. This guy is crazy, he doesn't have anything. But if it works, nobody can walk away from it. They will pick it up and you'll see that everybody is coming to you to learn how you have done it so that they can do it all over the world. And that's how it spreads. And that power you have. So I will emphasize on that. And imagine and use that power for the imagination that you have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Santos.
My generation failed in terms of leaving the next generation a better world, especially in terms of the environment and social justice. The new generation, the young people, have the opportunity to change that. Where we failed, you can make it a success. And as Professor Yunus just said, you have the power and you have to use it. And I would say this is a paradox, what is happening in the US elections, that they're saying, count every single vote is important. I would say the same to the young people. Your participation, your enthusiasm, your contribution to this fundamental change that we need is very important, individually and collectively. But you do have the power to change things. Therefore, use it. Use it in a constructive and positive way. Because if you don't, then we will all suffer, but you will suffer more than anybody, because the future is yours. It's not ours. We are already with the sun behind our back. You have the future in your hands. Use that power to build a better future. Building a better future is possible. It's necessary. And it's in your hands. It's your responsibility to participate in the building of that better future. So this is the time. Don't wait. Act now.
Well, thank you really so much. It has been a real privilege to be able to listen to you both. And I really thank you for your ongoing commitment, not just for participating in these dialogues and conversation, but because you are also an example of how you can do actions in your day-to-day for making it possible. So really, really thank you. And connected with this, I just want to remind everyone joining us that we have a session this afternoon with Juris Environment Hub and Fundación Compass to discuss about this very key, super crucial topic of the conservation of the Amazons and how can we do it through social business. So please join us. It will be from 2 p.m. You can join by the same link that you joined to participate in. So we hope you will be there and that you will enjoy the session, and not just enjoy the session, but do something about it later, so that we can all, through our actions, really, really go to change this world. I'm sure about it. I know we can do it. So let's just go and do it now. So thank you so much again, Professor Yunus and Mr. Santos, for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead, and yeah.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Look forward. Thank you, President Santos. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Great honor to see you. I hope we can see each other personally
yes,
in the future.
Yes, let's keep in touch and work together. And thank you, Paula. It's a wonderful job. Thanks a lot.
Paula, yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Bye-bye.
Chao.
Gracias.